Greetings, listeners and readers. Welcome. Thanks for joining us to see an outline of the timeline for the protected books so far. This timeline will follow the in-world chronology of the protected books. S.A. Gibson is a writer with more than 10 books published, and many short stories, many written with co-writers. Most stories are set in a future which has lost advanced technology because of a catastrophic virus pandemic that leads to the collapse of modern civilization. Writers in the protected world framework use research and real-world knowledge to fill stories with realism, technology, and history blended with creative ideas. S.A. Gibson wrote the first protected book story for publication in 2014. Many fiction stories have been written since then, all in the same world. Perhaps these stories should be called realistic future fiction instead of science fiction. Often extensive research is carried out to enable accuracy about what people do without modern technology. For example, in the past, pigeons were used to communicate across distances. The level of technology in this world would be equivalent to early 1800s. The world population was estimated to be 1 billion people in 1804. Likewise, the very first steam train was recorded in 1804. Here follows an outline of the timeline for the protected books so far. The in-world chronology is different from the publication order of the series. So far there have been 3 series and 5 short stories. Library Soul, After the Collapse, and The Forbidden Books are 3 series that are published. Pratima's Forbidden Book, Book 1 of the protected books, has a young William Way as a major character in India. The short story Pratima's Engines has Pratima in India again, after the events of Pratima's Forbidden Book. She is a full library investigator going undercover in the short story. Out of the Sands is a short story set in Egypt with a character introduced in Pratima's Forbidden Book. William Way was a teenager in Rajasthan, India. An apprentice for libraries, and not an expert with swords yet. He reappears in the After the Collapse series, starting with Feeling Away Book 1, which takes up the story of William after he arrives in California after years of sword training. A Dangerous Way, Book 2 of After the Collapse follows William years later in New Mexico as he wields his sword for the libraries. 15 years later, in the Horde's Way, William has been head librarian in the Southwest, but tribes from the Northwest have invaded the Southwest and imprisoned William and his daughter. The Last Horizon, Collapse, co-written with J.I. Rogers, takes place with new characters in Oregon during the time of In the Horde's Way. The Burning Library takes place in California, with some connection to events in A Dangerous Way. The Library Soul series of books started with Asanti's Gullah Journey. The sequel, Gullah Girl in the Bayou, follows 2 characters, Lakeisha and Jolin, after the events of the previous book. The short story Lakeisha Decides is one scene from Asanti's Gullah Journey extracted out into a short story. Cindy Tamamical wrote the Lost Library short story set in a Southwest desert. War Tools is a short story with Chizuko, from Pratima's Forbidden Book set in Korea. Another short story, Future's Fate, will be published in an anthology in January 2021. That story has librarians searching for a danger in California. A future book will be a sequel to Pratima's Forbidden Book. This book, tentatively titled Mission to Palani, will include Pratima and other characters from other books. In addition, there is a protected book series guidebook available on Amazon and other stores, which is a guide for the different stories set in the world of protected books. This guidebook is meant for fans and authors interested in writing protected books-related stories. Audio versions of scenes from Feeling Away, Pratima's Forbidden Book, and Asanti's Gullah Journey are available online. An audiobook of the Burning Library short story is available from audio bookstores. A complete reading of Last Horizon, Collapse, the short story is available on YouTube. Translations have been published for A Dangerous Way in Spanish and Italian. A translation of Pratima's forbidden book has been published in Spanish. We hope you enjoyed this brief outline of the timeline of the Protected Books fiction world. We look forward to your comments, questions, and contribution to this timeline. Hopefully, a new version of this timeline will need to be uploaded soon. Thanks for visiting. All the best until next time.